Hey guys, welcome to Nate's SuperCoach for 2024. In this video, we're going to look through lock, watch, or pass for the Adelaide Crows. I'm going to make videos for all 18 teams, so you're going to be across everything this pre-season. All right, here's a bit of a refresher. So, a lock. For this video and for this series, we're going to look at players who you should consider starting in your SuperCoach team. You don't have to start all of them. You're not going to be able to financially, but it gives you a bit of an idea as to the range of players and the amount of players that are available for you to choose as premiums, and we'll call them locks. You can use these as a way to keep up with the other players, but also as a pod or a point of difference to set yourself apart from 99.99% of teams, which are all going to be the same, more than likely. The next category is watch. Okay, so we're going to watch these guys during the preseason and through round 0. We're going to look for their role, any sort of injury concerns, and their potential to post big scores. For their price, we're going to look at a few different factors. All right, so that'll be the watch. And the third category is pass. Okay, so there's obviously there's either too much doubt on the role, or the job security, or their ability to score good scores for the price that we're paying for them. So we're going to pass at this stage. Doesn't mean that you can't pick them up later in the year, but for the moment we're not going to start them. All right, let's start with the Crows. So in terms of the locks, there's two that I can see, and it's Jordan Dawson and Rory Laird. Okay, so I had both in my side last year. Dawson, 647k as a mid-only, and Laird, a little bit more dearer, 653k as a mid-only. So I find it's important when you're looking at players to choose for keepers, you want to ask yourself the question, will this player, or how likely is it that this player will be in, say, the top 8 to 10 midfielders or defenders or forwards, depending on whatever line you're picking them. And if they don't fit in that top 8 to 10, you sort of got a question, should I be starting this player? Especially if you're looking at it as a keeper. If we were looking at it as a stepping stone, potentially, then that's a different conversation. But for the moment, we're looking at primos. So I look at these two and I think, either of them going to be in the top 10 midfielders at the end of the year? I think Laird is the closest. I think he scrapes in around 8th to 10th, somewhere around there. So he could finish higher than that. There's no reason why he couldn't, but I just feel that he's going to be probably about around that 8 mark. So if there was one person that I was going to start out of these two, it would be Laird. Not to say Dawson's not a good pick, because he is. Put up some good scores last year. I think Laird has the history, though. He's got a few other years behind him of premium scoring, and he was the staple of a lot of SuperCoach backlines for a long, long time. So if I was to choose one, I'd be going in with Laird. Will I choose either of these two guys to start with? Not sure. I think at the moment it's a bit of a toss-up. I've got to look at a few other little things. But if I was to start one, it would be Rory Laird. So let's move on to the watch list now. Now, the easiest one to watch, okay, so the one we're looking at the most is Curtin. All right, Dan Curtin. He was about pick 8 or 9 in the draft. 175k, and he's dual position, defender and mid. So that's going to help us. Okay, that's really going to be a good thing for us to look for. Okay, so the pros for Dan Curtin, as I said, dual position. He is a viable rookie. The Crows obviously picked him at pick 8 for a reason. They want to use him, you would think. Where they're going to use him, though, that's the biggest probably unknown at the moment. Is he going to be a key defender? Are they going to try and throw him up forward with Tex? Who knows? Any Adelaide fans, post in the comments below if you've heard any sort of inside rumours or anything. But let's say he's a key defender because of his height. Usually not a SuperCoach friendly in terms of scoring potential. Usually players we don't really target per se. We're after more of the intercept defenders, the Tom Stewart, James Sicily, Jordan Ridley types, and we kind of avoid the lockdown defenders because we use the lockdown defenders to then free up those interceptors, which we can then pick. So, am I looking at Dan Curtin? He's certainly on the watch list. His price, yes, you pay a little bit more for the top 10 draft picks, but it's one of those things where you pay a bit more because you believe the player is capable of putting out a good score, but also a case of the return is arguably higher than most other rookies. So he's definitely one to watch. Now this one, Tex Walker, bit of a left field call, bit of a left field watch list call, this one. So 500,000. I did some quick little bit of research on him before. 500,000. So he's 33 years of age. So you can kind of discount that because Tom Hawkins and Cameron are, there and abouts that, and they're still kicking goals. And so to his 2023 scores, he went over 106 times. Okay, so he scored 600s last year, 500,000. So he's kind of just over that no man's land price. He's in the kind of fall and premium price range. The thing about Tex is, in a year where we have bugger all to choose from up forward, he could be a very viable option to sew up a forward position if he's able to return to, or continue last year's form. All right. But that in itself poses a bit of a problem because he needs to kick a bag of goals to be anything relevant for SuperCoach. So it's a watch and see. I don't know how likely it is on a scale of, almost impossible to almost certain that he's going to get back to, or at least continue on the 2023 form. I think it's more likely than not that he could. Adelaide seem to be on the rise under Matthew Nicks. They're having a good pre-season from all reports. So he's one to look at. And as I said, in a year of 2024 when the forwards are just non-existent, basically, he could be one to look at. Worst case, he's a stepping stone up to a forward option that appears in round 6 or 7. Wins not so much makes you money, because at 500 he's probably not going to rise too much, you would think, but at least he'll give you some good scores. And so the last category is the pass. Now for me, years gone by, I would have looked at this guy, Rory Sloane. He's 430k this year, mid only, so again he's competing against the pure midfielders. So when you look at guys like Butters, Walsh, Bontempelli, Davies-Uniacke, Tom Green, Brayshaw, these kind of names, it's just difficult for me to see Sloane competing with that as an average. So yes, he's underpriced at 430. He's kind of in that no man's land price as well. So if you were paying 430 for him, you'd really need him to be scoring hundreds each week to think that that's a good viable pick. So he's 33. I don't know how many more years he's got, maybe a year or two. I think he's out of contract at the end of this year, same with Tex, so there could be like a Dyson Heppel situation, just year contracts each year until he decides to pack up the boots. But, he only went 100 twice last year, so you're paying 430k for a guy that went 100 twice last year. I think there's better value elsewhere. There has been a role change, though, touted for him, so we'll keep an eye on that one. I don't think it's enough to put him in the watch list. I think for the moment we pass on Sloane, but if anything drastic changes in the Adelaide team, long-term injuries or this role change, and he starts to put up some good scoring, then we can certainly take a look at him as the season goes on. All right, thanks, guys. That was the Adelaide Crows. Leave a comment below if I've missed any player or if any other content you'd like me to create to help you navigate the 2024 SuperCoach season. It's going to be a unique one, to say the least. Stay tuned, because I've got videos coming for all the other sides as well. Take care.